This video is brought to you by DICE, the global entertainment content marketplace. Welcome to the Coffee with Konnect series. In today's episode, we are talking with Mrinalini Tewari of Echoical Creations, discussing her content on DICE, projects she's currently working on, and what inspires her. If you're a buyer and wish to acquire an Echoical Creations title, or you're a seller looking to get your content out to a global audience, get in touch with us through our website, konnect.digital, or you can email us at dicesales@konnectdigital.com. Without further ado, let's get into our interview with Mrinalini Tewari. So just to start off, I just wanted to ask if you could introduce yourself, share a little bit about yourself.
Starting off with my journey, basically, I'm primarily a filmmaker and a music producer and a singer-songwriter.
Okay.
I started, with music as a musician, and I learned Indian classical when, I was growing up. Since I was a kid, I and my friend, we were thinking to make a documentary together, wherein I was supposed to be doing the music for him, and he was supposed to be, directing it. But then, for some reason, he could not become as a director. I mean, he could not have the dates, and then I was like, oh, why not? Let me just try this. It was a musical documentary. The first documentary, was my debut documentary, was a musical documentary, and wherein I thought that okay, let me just do it, because I used to see a lot of world cinema, a lot, like growing as a child, I was seeing a lot of world cinema. So it was there subconsciously, it was there inside me that I used to love watching films in different countries, different languages and everything. So of course it was there, but it was never like, you dream and you think of doing a lot of things. Subconsciously, it was there. I was seeing a lot of films, and I mean, I was like, okay, why not? And then this happened, my first debut documentary, happened, and it started getting a lot of recognition, and it started getting a lot of attention in an international space. And which is where I decided, I thought of, why don't I take it up like, a full-time profession, and why not to do it? Because I was loving that entire process of filming. So I was like, okay, let's try to do it. It's a new thing for me.
Yeah, so I mean, you kind of gone into it a little bit, but what kind of motivated that? Because you said you grew up on music and you grew up on films, but can you kind of paint the picture of what motivated you? It's like, I want to do this full time.
I did my work as a filmmaker for my first documentary, as a documentary filmmaker. My first documentary was been done, and then like when it started getting attention in the international media, like when there were these awards that started happening, like the first recognition that I got as a debut director was from one of the awards, the best debut director. So I was like actually a little shocked. I'm like, okay, I don't know how this has happened. Then I started writing, and then I started filming another documentary. And in that process, I started loving that entire process. It was becoming more and more thrilling for me. And that's how it happened. It's just like, even now, like when I'm filming, when I'm shooting, I just don't see it that, oh, what's going to happen? I'm just doing my thing. And then, if it's taking a journey, if it's taking a path, then I'm very happy, and I'm very grateful that it's going somewhere. The story is going somewhere.
Of course, you talk about the first project you ever did. Would you say that was the birth of Echoical Creations, or did that come? Oh, okay.
So Echoical. So, like I said, like I am a musician. I started my journey. I started as a musician. So it's of echoes. Echoical means of echoes. Okay. So when I started the production house, my the first documentary that we made was on the music of Kashmir, that you've already about it. So that was yes. So that is on the music of Kashmir. So I mean, if you see, there's a lot of music, and I relate music as also a lot of many echoes that have assembled sort of together. So that's the reason I have kept it as echoes, because I feel that whatever is happening around us has an echo, and it never dies, it keeps on just prolonging, and there's a delay, and there's an effect, and it just keeps on like vibrating. So hence I kept this name as Echoical. So I feel that whenever I'm making something, I think it just, even if I'm gone tomorrow, it's still going to be there. It'll still echo somewhere in the universe.
I love that. I really do. So it's almost like you're capturing the essence of where you are in the present that will exist timelessly.
Yes, yes. In fact, time and space is cinema. That is the first theory of cinema: time and the place where it is happening.
Yeah.
That is the most important theory of, yeah. And I think it relates to music as well, I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it seems like you've kind of entangled the two quite well, your passion for music and film.
The film is very different because, in fact, you will not be able to see, even if now somebody goes to Kashmir, will not be able to see the kind of visuals that I've shot, because the time I shot this, there was lots of violence that was going. Now the violence has gone
Okay.
down,
Yeah.
but the time when I shot it, it was not possible for a civilian to go and to shoot
Wow.
over there.
Wow.
Yeah. So now things are becoming better, but that time it was not so great. So I think it's one of the, I would say, prestigious, and it's very innermost villages in Kashmir.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, so that's the film about it. It's very, there are hardly any dialogues. It's more to do with music and sound.
This perfectly follows on to the next question, which I was going to allow you to explore those titles a bit. But you've obviously talked about Echoes from the Soil of Kashmir a little bit, and the idea of it being focused more around music than dialogue. But then you've also got Ruins and Remains. Um,
Right, right.
yeah, and I was wondering if you could explore that title as well a little bit.
So then, of course, I wanted to, wanted to do something which was not music. I wanted to, because then, as a musician, you become very partial towards music.
Yeah, yeah,
So I purposely kept myself away from music, and I thought, but though I've done the background music for that, I've done the sound
yeah,
and
yeah.
the music for that. So there was a very interesting thing that I came across with, and that was the Portuguese community in India. So this was like a very, very curious thing, to figure out a Portuguese community living in India, and
Yeah,
in
yeah.
they speak a dialect, which is a Portuguese dialect. It's not even Portuguese. This is
Mm,
a dialect. It's a Creole that was been
yeah.
spoken in Maharashtra, and people who were from that area did not know about these people. So it was crazy because, like, I mean, you are from some place. Like, imagine something happening in Bombay, and I would not know something is happening in Bombay, even
Mm,
though you're
mm,
living in Bombay. So, the people didn't know about it. So why was it there? There was no information generally. Even on the internet, there wasn't any
mm.
information. So I was like, okay, now what to do? This is very interesting. So then I just started to be on this new journey of
Yeah.
figuring out these people. So it was very thrilling journey for me to do something like that, interesting topic. So that is the reason I did Ruins and
Yeah.
Remains.
I did want to ask as well, because obviously you've explored those two titles, and those are the ones that you got on Dice. But I did just kind of want to ask if there's any kind of new projects that you're currently working on at the moment.
Yeah. So there is one documentary that I'm going to be starting soon. I was writing the script also for that. So that is one documentary. It's there's this place which is close to Maharashtra Goa border, two
Okay.
states border. So
Mm.
there is a place over there which is, again, it's got a different kind of a subject. So I'm going to do that. I was writing that. And again, it goes back to history, like, some 1,000, 2,000 years
Yeah.
back. It
Yeah.
goes back around that time, because I love that space of bringing
Mm.
back the time. So it's
Mm.
around in that area. And I've written feature films of fiction. I'm also working on fiction. So that's
Ooh.
where now
Okay.
I get into. So there's one script I've written for a feature film. So hopefully,
Mm.
let's see. I'm trying to pitch in some at some
Yeah.
places. And also there's one docu-series that I'm also trying to work on, which is on the state of Goa.
Mm.
So there are a few docu-series and fiction projects that I'm working on, I've written. So let's see when they're going to start. I'm like in the process of writing. And documentary, of course, I'm going to be starting in a couple of months for sure, but lots
Okay.
of interesting projects are there in the pipeline as of now.
Yeah, you're really kind of stretching yourself out there, and kind of really pushing the boundaries, which I really really like. I really like the fact that
Yeah.
obviously when you've done something, it's clear
Yes,
that you kind of want to go a little bit further, try something new, try something fresh. I think that's really
yes,
really cool.
that's right. That's right.
Yeah, I just also kind of want to ask then what you think, in your words, about Echoical would appeal to audiences. What do you think, in your words, you're bringing to the table?
I feel that there has to be a lot of stories that have
Mm,
to be covered in a very raw way, like very
okay.
pure way.
Yeah.
There is a very different kind of an approach that I want to bring into my films. Very earthy, very innocent, I want to bring the lives of the people in a very pure, absolutely pure and realistic way. I want to bring a very different kind of a cinema in around us, and tell more and more stories through people, real stories. So that is how I see my production house.
Usually we'd wrap up with the last question, but I did want to ask something. Obviously, you're involved in quite a lot of creative processes, from score creation to writing, to the actual production process. What's your favorite part?
I think I would not say one part, but I would say a couple of parts. I like the researching part a lot.
Okay.
So I like researching and finding more and more things, even while, on the before the shoot and on the shoot. And I like taking, if I'm not finding something, then I will try to figure out a hack, a hack. I'm very, I like finding hacks. So when you're a documentary filmmaker, for example, and you're working on lower budgets, then you need to have hacks for everything.
Yeah.
I love that process of figuring out a hack. If there is nothing, if there isn't equipment, or if there is something that we don't have, how can we do that? So that is the process that I really like, that part of filmmaking.
So just before we wrap up at the end of the interview, I kind of want to give the floor to you if there's anything that I haven't asked you, or anything particularly that you wanted to discuss.
I think it was an amazing time. I think it was a very smooth interview, and it really gave me a lot of space and a lot of time to say what I was really thinking. So it was I think one of the most smoothest interviews that I've had in the past, and really enjoyed it. And thank you for your time, and thank you so much for bringing out some interesting questions, which I loved answering and loved thinking, because I really love answering questions which are really different from what generally are the questions. So I really enjoyed the process, and I loved working with Konnect, and it was a great experience for me. And
What do you think of this episode? Let us know down in the comments below. As always, you can get in touch with us through our website, konnect.digital, or you can email us at diesales@konnectdigital.com for business inquiries. Be sure to subscribe to our channel for more videos like this one. Have a great day.